I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in fate and all that. But I know that there is a thing called chance and serendipity. Sometimes some things happen which you have no explanation for. So one day, one of my friends told me that there is this institute called Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute, and why don't you go check it out? You might find some interesting ideas. I was still in the service then. So I visited the institute, and then I was guided to the research wing, and there I met this Professor Ramani, who was the head of R&D. And 1 hour later, he changed my life. But just that meeting changed my life. For the first time in my life, I found a purpose. Otherwise, here was a guy who had no purpose in his life. You know, I enjoyed whatever I did, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Now suddenly I had a purpose. And that purpose was to establish this indigenous technology, be the pioneer in the country to do this, and help a lab, national lab, transfer its technology to the market. Translate know-how to the market. So that's all. I never thought of that I'm going to build a company, I'm going to build a business, it's going to be my company. I never thought about all those things. In fact, I didn't even realize all that. I thought I was a project manager. And that's how I started Penpol. That was what the company was called at that time.
That were the same, so
yeah.
not much risk.
So I took the decision to quit the IAS. In fact, in the letter to the institute, I wrote to the director, Dr. Valliyathan. I wrote a letter to him saying, I am interested in applying for commercializing your blood bag technology. I have no money, I have no technical qualifications, I have no business experience, I am not from a business family, but if you give me an opportunity, I will explain to you how I will implement this project. Anyway, to cut a long story short, even to this day I don't understand why Dr. Valliyathan accepted my proposal, but he chose to give the technology to me. And then, so that's how I I moved from a career in government to becoming an entrepreneur. So 1984, I took the license from the National Research Development Corporation of India for the know-how, tied up in 1985 with KSIDC for funding. Then I had to arrange a lot of other funding because I had no money. It was not that difficult either, because I think I had a story to tell. So whoever I went to, whichever institution and I got money from government institutions. All of them were government institutions, not a single private party. I got from KSIDC, I got from IDBI, I got from KFC, I got from State Bank of Travancore. And I got money from National Research Development Corporation of India. They not only licensed me, they invested in my company. Mine was the first company in India in which the NRDC took shareholding. I think all these entities invested for the right reason. And that was, I think my story sounded credible to them. That is, when I told them, this is what we are going to do, this is what is. I didn't promise them that we are going to make a lot of money. That was, because I couldn't claim that. I really, though I hoped that we would be successful, I really couldn't claim that. But I spoke about, this was a nationally important project. This was based on indigenous know-how. This would help modernize blood transfusion services in India because it will make available domestically made blood bags. It would save a lot of foreign exchange for the country. One of the greatest things to happen to a person in his or her life, and you are young people, and I wish it happens to you, because obviously it hasn't happened, it will happen, and I wish it happened, is you must have an epiphany. My epiphany was when I met Ramani. Suddenly, here was a guy who was just wandering through life. Suddenly, I had a sense of purpose. That's your epiphany. That's when that feeling, I was born to do this. The moment once that coin drops in your mind, nothing can stop you. Whatever you are deciding to do. And I remember I came back from that meeting and I had a very dear friend who died actually a couple of months ago. He was one of my dearest friends and well-wishers and advisor for me, Shashi. So Shashi asked me, so, Balu, how was the meeting? I said, I have decided, I am going to do this. He said, "Today, you don't even know what a blood bag looks like." Blood bag. I consider it as minor details. Whatever it is. But I had decided this is what I'm going to do. That's what is an epiphany. So I had that epiphany. So when I look back on the thing, what was the quality which made me succeed? One possible thing was I had this epiphany and I was willing to do anything to make this succeed. I was willing to go to any lengths and work and go and, knock at every door and all. But I suspect that's what all entrepreneurs do. At least most entrepreneurs, I'm sure, are doing the same thing. I worked hard, so do all the others. And, so what was that element which differentiates me from the other 14? I think I was lucky. Luck smiled on me, luck did not smile on them. See, this is a factor which nobody takes into account, and that's where all the narratives give a wrong impression. We think, it is like saying, all successful people are hardworking. But the reverse is not true. All hardworking people are not successful. So, see, my entrepreneurial journey started at I just crossed 30. And I sold my company 30 years later when I was 60. So, it was very clear to me that I am not going to do another entrepreneurial role, because I knew that, thing like what I did, you can do once in a lifetime. You can't, and at 60, you really, no matter, see, and the other problem is also, these are all contradictory things. Money is only one part of the, the game. See, I started Penpol, I started my project with no money. So the fact that I didn't have money did not stop me from becoming an entrepreneur. Now the fact that today, say, I have some money does not mean I can be an entrepreneur. I must have a project, I must have a sense of purpose, I must have the drive. If I have all that, then the fact that I have money may help. But if all I have is money, then it's not going to help. So today, it is not that I don't have project ideas. I have plenty of project ideas. I want to get people to come, take those project ideas and make it a success. And I know I can help them, start up those ventures and all that. But I don't want to do it. I don't want to go through what I went through. I don't think I have the stamina for it. I went through so many crises, and all in the first 10 years. When I really thought I made a big mistake. When I had a wife and 2 small kids, and I had, thrown up what was considered to be a coveted job, and I was now up to my eyeballs in debt, and the project was failing, and the bank was recalling the loan. Kerala Finance Corporation was recalling the loan. I knew, Saturday evening I get the registered acknowledgement due letter, which unsuspectingly I open and I find it's a loan recall letter sent on Saturday evening. So sent in such a cunning way that Sunday I cannot get a stay, and Monday morning they are going to come for revenue recovery. So that Sunday I remember I went and met the finance minister of the state. I don't know him. I just barged into his residence in that colony in Trivandrum where the ministers have their bungalows. And that was the Vishwanatha Menon, who was a finance minister, Marxist party guy. And I told him, this is who I am, and he didn't know me. I said, this is and the person who took me to see him was late E. Chandrasekharan Nair, my old boss. So he said, you hear what Balagopal has to say. So I told him, I explained my problem. I said, of course my company is not doing well, it's struggling, but I said, keeping all the financial institutions informed. I paid all my dues, etc. I can't understand why this loan recall. I should be given time because I am passing through some difficulty. And I must say to Mr. Vishwanath Menon's credit is that he stayed it on Sunday. He passed an order, and the next day I was able to go back and negotiate after that with all the banks and institutions and get a kind of more time to pay it back. So in the same way, I had times when my bank drawings were I was overdrawn in the bank. I had no money to pay next day's bills, and there were creditors waiting to be paid, salaries to be paid, etc. And I was wondering, what am I doing? What am I going to do? The profound message which I learned, lesson which I learned was, tomorrow is another day. So I learned that if you have done whatever you can today, then I know myself. I think reasonably well I know myself. I know I am not a guy of tremendous courage and tremendous fortitude and upset I have a hyperactive imagination. Worst case, with all this, I wondered to myself, how did I survive not one day, not 1 month, not 1 year, almost 6-7 years during a 10-year period? How did I survive it? The only explanation I can think is something used to tell, I used to finally say, anyway, I've done all I can today. Let me go to sleep. Tomorrow morning, we'll see. So what happens with that approach is, things change. See, it's a dynamic world out there. I learned, the lesson which I learned and what I advise, and in fact in my presentations and all, the last slide I tell people is, finally I'll tell them, young people, I'll say, I hope you never pass through the times like the times I had to pass through, but you may have to, and in all likelihood you will. When that happens, remember that tomorrow is another day.